Hello, America. Have you ever had one of those nights where you flip on the TV and two of your favorite shows are on at exactly the same time and you're like, oh. Or better yet, when you go to the movie and you walk up to the concession stand and you can't decide between Raisinets and the Goobers, and then you realize, crap, my wife's not here. I'm going to buy them both. Well, you take that feeling of overwhelming joy, then you douse it with gasoline, light it on fire, run it through a wood chipper, bury it in your backyard, and you start to come close to the understanding of how little excitement I feel for either of the two presidential candidates. Here's the point tonight. I have truly never ever cared more about our country than I do right now. But I have also never cared less about our choices for who should be running it. And here's how I got there. I think most of us would all agree that we're in a pivotal time in our country's history. You see it on television every single night. I think most Americans feel it in their gut. They just know something's fundamentally wrong. But what we can't seem to agree on is which way to pivot. We got some great choices, don't we? One candidate is essentially a socialist, while the other one I would call a conservative socialist. He's pro-life, but pro-global warming. He wants to keep the troops in Iraq, but also keep our borders open. He wants to drill offshore, but not in Alaska. Well, what? That leaves me not only without any candidate, but also without any excitement whatsoever. It's kind of like being back at the concession stand, and they're out of the Raisinets and the Goobers, and your wife is with you, and all they got there on the counter is raw eggplant and tofu. No thanks. So, America, here is what you need to know tonight. If you feel like I do about this election, we are not alone. A new Zogby poll asked people to rank their excitement about our choices on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being not at all excited and 5 being the average answer, a very ambivalent 3, which, not coincidentally, is slightly less than the number of spokes on these pitchforks that I keep here in my studio. Jillette is an illusionist, actor, comedian, atheist, Nobel Peace Prize winner. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well, but you spilled the Stockholm secret right at the top. But yeah. we'll pretend you didn't say it.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, man. We are being held hostage by both parties. They are taking us to the same damn place.
But you're buying into it. You're not part of the solution, Glenn. You're part of the
then
problem.
Then help me.
You're giving them that there's only these two choices.
Oh, no.
All of the American people have to decide is they want a different choice and someone else can win.
Penn.
Nowhere in the rules does it say it has to be one of those two.
Penn, I will tell you now. Jesus could come back before November, so I'm not making any promises. But I would bet almost everything I have at this point, there's no way I'm going to vote for one of these two clowns. And I am going to vote. I will find a third party. But I haven't found my guy yet. Have you?
Well, Bob Barr came to our show out here in Vegas the other night, and he was wonderful to talk to, and he's closer. At least he actually wants smaller government,
right?
And maybe that's all you need. And Ron Paul was also there with that,
right? He may be the guy I end up voting for. I'm not a fan of some of the stuff that he does, but you know what? Look, I don't need the perfect candidate. I just need somebody. Usually, in the last election, I was a one point guy. I needed you to understand what the world was facing with Islamic terror, but I can't do it now. You've got Russia, you've got Iran, you've got Islamic radicals. You're tanking the dollar. Our economy is on the edge. They're talking about nationalizing our financial institutions, nationalizing transportation. GM and the big three, they're too big to fail as well. Free speech with a fairness doctrine being including being expanded to the internet. And then nobody's doing anything on energy. Good God Almighty, where is somebody that can help us?
I know, and it's I always want to go back to the Jerome Horowitz theory of government. Jerome Horowitz, better known as Curly Howard of the Three Stooges. Jerome Horowitz would be given a choice. Mo Howard would say to him, pick two, and hold out his fingers. And then Curly would pick two, and no matter which two fingers he picked, he always got poked in the eye. As long as you pick two, you are Jerome Horowitz.
All right.
You are Curly Howard.
Okay, then help me out on this, because I hope to be sending somebody out to cover this convention with Ron Paul in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Because I really, for the first time in my life, I am to the point where I cannot tell my children in 10 to 15 years from now, if we all survive, that my fingerprints were on either two of these choices. I can't do it. So,
Yeah.
but wait. When I read the blogs and everything else from the people who are involved with the Ron Paul convention and everything, I want to go and listen to those people, but there's about 10% of that audience that scares the living bejesus out of me.
And what's the percentage of Obama and McCain people that scare the living bejesus out of you?
Obama people, 80%.
Okay.
McCain people, because they're all like, they're not really active. They're just, most of them are asleep. They don't really scare me.
So, so the Ron Paul people aren't doing that bad then, are they? With 10% nuts.
Yeah, but like crazy nuts. Like
I know. You're going to have that.
Yeah.
But I mean, what's your percentage in the general population? When you walk down to Starbucks to get your cappuccino, what percentage of people in that Starbucks do you consider to be dangerous, crazy people?
Dangerous? In Starbucks, 100%.
Okay.
Dunkin' Donuts, maybe 3%.
3%.
Yeah.
Okay. So 10% is not that crazy, that out of line.
Sure.
It's okay.
Sure.
You're going to have a few nuts, and I want to just tell you, Glenn. Every night at the show in Vegas, people come up to me and talk about me going on your show.
Yeah.
And I think to many people, you and I might be in that 10%.
Oh no!
I'd love
The
to
people
see you on Glenn Beck's show, man. You guys are nuts.
I know that. I know. I walk into Starbucks and everybody's like, "Oh, I'm really uncomfortable now." I mean, I know my place in the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as you know that when you look at those blogger nuts, they're looking right back at you. Is what I'm saying.
Okay. So
I think you have to go. The best thing about Obama was the lack of cynicism. The fact that I actually had friends in the last two elections. I didn't have any friends who actually liked Kerry or Gore.
Right.
They just hated Bush.
How do they
and it was
feel?
an entire party about hate. With Obama, even though I don't agree, there are at least people who actually like him, and that makes me happy because it's a little less cynicism in the world, and I believe that's always good.
But I hate to be a cynic. I hate to be a cynic here, but have you listened to what he's saying? I mean, I know you are a small government guy. When you get down to the nuts and bolts of what he's talking about, good God Almighty, you want to talk about change? Communism is a change.
All I can say is a drowning man will grab a snake. I was just trying to find one little good thing about that. You don't have to convince me that we should not go bigger government and more, because when we get down to smaller government, I'm going to want to go smaller than you. When we actually get a libertarian in office and the whole thing goes smaller and smaller and smaller, you and I end up having a discussion where you say to me, do you really want to get rid of public schools?
Right.
And I go, yeah, Glenn, I really do.
Oh, no, Penn, I'm with you on that.
Okay,
I really am.
good.
You know what? I'd like to have you back because I'd like to have a conversation on this very thing again because I think we just differ on how small the government. I'm a little closer, I think, to our founding fathers, or at least some of them that said just to the point before it collapses.
Well,
I have a feeling you're at the collapse.
You and I will get to that point, and then I'll argue for anarcho-capitalism.
Okay,
but I'll probably lose.
Okay,
and that's
yeah.
fine.
Well, all right, Penn, thanks a lot.